Charlie, thanks for joining us. First of all, how have you and the family been keeping during the lockdown?
No, thank you for having me on, Luke. I really appreciate you inviting me to come and speak. We've been doing really well, actually, considering it's been obviously a really strange time for everybody. I think, just unprecedented times. People never imagined would sort of be happening. So for us, without sort of talking too down and sort of negative about things, we obviously come through a lot harder this time last year, and for us this has sort of been a bit of a walk in the park, really, to be honest with you. We've had a lot of time, me, my mum and my sister, to be together and do things that we probably wouldn't usually have the time to do as a collective. There's been plenty of dog walks and keeping active, getting out, and just, as I say, making the use of the time we have together to reflect on things and just keep positive and just know that each day we're sort of one step closer to coming out the other side of this obviously awful time that everybody's experiencing, but remaining positive at the same time.
Absolutely. And you mentioned there about staying active, and last week or this week as we talk, we launched the JE3Mile, obviously encouraging people to get active, get out there and also donate to the JE3 Foundation. So how's that been from your perspective in terms of people getting involved?
Amazing. One thing for certain, as a family, we cannot be more grateful for how supportive everybody's been since the tragic events of losing Dad last year. Not just Leighton Orient, but the footballing world and people outside of that. And just to see how many people have actually got behind the foundation in the last sort of, 10 months since we've launched it. As you say, the JE3Mile, which we've launched, has really, really taken off. And there's been a lot of fantastic efforts from people, some amazing generosity. But, we wanted to launch it to, mark the year anniversary, which is obviously going to be a difficult time for us all. Not just us as a family, but, everybody whose life Dad touched in whatever way that was. We wanted to do something that would be something that he would be proud of, he'd be positive and upbeat about. And we think there's no better way than obviously getting people out there, doing a run, a cycle, making it fun and seeing, all of the fantastic efforts of people rolling in. It's really, really touching. And from obviously me, my mum, my sister and everybody at the foundation, we can't thank everybody enough for their continued support.
Absolutely. And there's been quite a few big names already getting involved, and we've seen a few of the Orient lads as well. I think I saw Jordan Maguire-Drew did it in about 19 minutes, which just seems incredible. But
that's why he gets up and down the wing so well, or plays in that 10 position so well. Listen, it doesn't matter the times. Obviously, it's incredible. Sub 20 minutes. I think I've done 21:50, which was pushing it, and I had Dad in my ear the whole way. My sister done hers yesterday, and bits like that. And I just said, look, it doesn't matter what your time is, as long as you're getting out there and having a go. That's all we encourage people to do. But it's had some amazing support so far. Obviously, likes of, we've had Wayne Bridge, Marlon Harewood. There's obviously been a few of the SAS members getting involved with it as well, Alex Bruce. So it's starting to pick up some momentum and seeing some of the boys. I think I tagged Craig Clay this morning to go out and get involved as well. And obviously my initial nomination was Josh Coulson, who also got out and done it. So yeah, fantastic to see. I think, not just for us, but especially for the boys as well at the club who worked with Dad and everybody associated, fans, staff. It's a great way for them to get out and, do something positive around, as I say, a time that's going to be difficult for all of us.
Absolutely. And obviously, as we come to that kind of 12-month mark, it's kind of a good time as well to look back at the kind of year, and there's obviously been lots of ups and downs and lots of emotional moments, I'm sure. One thing that kind of springs to mind to kick off with is obviously Josh Wright's goal in that win against Cheltenham, and you could kind of see the emotional outpouring from Josh and what it meant to the players. And what was it like from your perspective as well and the family?
Yeah, look, I think first and foremost that whole day is one that I'll never forget. Certainly, and I know it will live long with me and the rest of my family and friends that were there that day. Obviously, it's been made quite publicly known that, you know, Josh and Dad had a good relationship, not just within football but outside of football. So for Josh to sort of be Dad's last signing before obviously he tragically lost his life, and for him to obviously score the winning goal on the opening day of the season was just there was all sorts of emotions. We obviously sit on the gallery there in Dad's stand now, that in the Justin Edinburgh stand, and there was tears, there was joy, there was. I don't actually think I could describe in an actual word the feeling, and it was just the whole day, just from start to finish. I'd actually myself only landed in the country that morning. Actually been best man at my friend's wedding in Mallorca, so I'd literally left the wedding around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, gone straight to Palma Airport and flown back to Gatwick. And I just knew that the whole day in general was going to be obviously very, very tough. Made very strange as my mum picked me up from Gatwick Airport as we set off for Brisbane Road. The first car we pulled behind on the motorway was number 3 JCE, was the number plate, which is Dad's initials. And it was just, I thought that was the start of a bizarre day, which it turned out to be. And look, obviously really difficult watching the team walk out. Obviously the amazing tributes pre-match from everybody inside the stadium, both Leyton Orient fans and the obviously fantastic tributes from Cheltenham as well, with the flag and everything that they put together for us was very, very touching, and we're forever grateful for that. But yeah, it was a day of mixed emotions. Odd sort of seeing the team walk out and Dad not sort of follow them and do his usual sort of ritual where he would always turn to us and give us a thumbs up. But you know, with Ross and Danny Webb and Joby in the dugout, along with all of the boys, we knew that they were pumped for the occasion. And as you say, just one of those bizarre sort of fairy tale moments with Josh sort of finding himself in the right place at the right time. And I think, you know, we've all sort of seen the celebrations that followed that from the players, the supporters, and again, a lovely, lovely tribute with the display of an Orient shirt with Dad's name and number on the back. It was something that I'll never forget.
Yeah, and you touched a bit on there about the Cheltenham flag, but I think a bit wider than that as well. It must be quite touching and I guess quite important as well to see kind of the wider football community that have kind of got around the situation and you know, showed their support over the last 12 months.
It's something, Luke, that is really bizarre, and I don't want to sound ungrateful or anything like that, but obviously my dad was my dad to me, and like anybody watching this, you've got your dad, and your dad's your dad, and everybody has a different relationship with their dad. I think I've made it very public and very well known what my dad meant to me, what I look up to and what I strive to be like as a man, and everything that I am is down to him and my mum. And look, it's really strange feeling because, as I say, I look to him, me and my sister look to him as my dad, but then you see the outpouring from not just Leyton Orient, from the footballing world and people outside of that, and to know that that's my dad is just such a comforting thing. It really has got me through the last 12 months, because there's not a week where I've gone sort of without receiving a tweet or seen an Instagram post or a Facebook post or somebody sort of, I guess, pulling me at one of the Orient home games and just saying, you know, they can't thank me enough for what my dad done for them. And it's really an overwhelming and privileged thing that I can say that I'm Justin's son and that he meant that much to people. And yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any prouder son in the world than me, and it would take some going to beat that, I'm sure.
Absolutely, and obviously one of the things that you have done in this time is you know, bring to the fore the JE3 Foundation, which is kind of gone from strength to strength in the last 12 months. Obviously, we spoke about Josh right there, and Josh is one of the trustees, but obviously JB McAnuff involved in there as well. So obviously bringing them on board, and how important is it to have kind of people that have been, players or under your dad during that time?
Very important, and I think I've been very sort of open about this. It's such a hard job selecting trustees. We could have had there was hundreds and hundreds of names, and I'm not just saying that lightly, that we could have selected and that we wanted to select, but there was so many people that came to mind. But with Josh and Joby, I think two fantastic leaders, two great professionals in their own right. Both had excellent careers, but we just felt that they could help drive what we are striving to do. Very much, well respected, not just in the game and by everybody at the football club, but from the wider footballing community as well. And listen, they've been absolutely fantastic for us, as is all of our trustees since launching this. But we felt it was really important that with every decision that we're making with the foundation, we want to keep Dad at the heart of everything, and no better people that were sort of working with him on a day-to-day basis at the training ground. Or listen, they probably saw him more than I saw him. Talking about their away trips and spending time at work together. You spend time with people that you work with more than you do your own family, and we felt it was really important that we got a real good mixture of personality and skill sets involved when we selected our trustees. And listen, Josh and Joby are just two. I can't not mention my other trustees. Obviously, Matt Porter is another. He's on the board at Orient there, and he's been excellent for us. As I've got my aunt and my uncle, Jason and Letitia, close family friends, and Claire Daly, Sean Derry, who obviously used to play with Dad, Darren Coote, another really good family friend of ours, John Eagleton, again, does a lot for the football community at grassroots level with Colebrook, who I know Dad used the Colebrook training ground in the build-up to the trophy final last year. So, lots of, and without forgetting that the two main women in my life, Mum and Sydney, driving me along the whole way. So without the combined pack, as well as sort of everybody's support, as I say, from the bottom of my heart and my family's heart, we cannot thank everybody enough who's got behind us and what we're looking and striving to do, because it gives us so much comfort. We've always said we want to keep Dad's name and his legacy going, and everybody that's donated and put their hand in their pocket, shared a tweet, liked a post, has gone a long way to help us be able to achieve that and keep his name going.
Absolutely. And obviously you mentioned this, it's been the first 10 months, so relatively speaking, it's kind of still the early days for the foundation. But obviously, can you tell us a bit about kind of what you've done so far this year, and more importantly, what you're kind of looking to do in the future? Absolutely.
Obviously, we wanted to make sure that we started moving with things at the right time. Obviously, we made an announcement too long after Dad's passing that we was going to be going with this, and it was an idea that me and my mum and my sister had whilst Dad was actually ill in hospital. But we've made great strides. I'm overwhelmed and so proud of the steps forward that we've made. Obviously, at the moment, with the current pandemic and obviously other things going on, it has prevented us doing a lot of the work that we would have liked to have done. But this has been a great time for us to sort of plan and brainstorm different ideas and ways that we can obviously make a difference. I think probably the highlight for us to this point has obviously been the successful inaugural gala dinner, which we held for Dad around the time of his 50th birthday in December. A fantastic night. We had over 650 people in attendance. And, we've had a lot of people asking about buying tickets for that next year already. Everybody had a great night. We kept Dad at the forefront of everything that we was doing. We had a real party for him, as we all know he would have wanted. But at the same time, we raised some really good awareness and some really significant funds. I think we raised on that night alone just shy of £200,000, which you look at that combined with sort of the Just Giving page, I think we're just creeping up to the 60,000 mark on that. And if somebody had said to me when we started this, that in our sort of first 10 months approaching a year, that we would have raised, you know, nearly £250,000, I would have taken that all day long. And again, it wouldn't be possible without people supporting us, believing in what it is that we're looking to do. So obviously this time has allowed us to really sort of reflect on sort of the last 10 months and the funds that we've been able to raise without really actually doing a great deal. I know there's a lot of people keeping their eyes peeled for different things. Hopefully watch this space. I won't spoil the surprise, but over the sort of next coming weeks, we should be announcing something which is us giving back to sort of mark the 1 year since Dad's passing. But obviously the next big thing for us is, and the next thing that we're going to be pushing is this hashtag Justin's Law. We feel and we know that that's going to do Dad's legacy the world of good. If we can get a legislative change with his name over it, then we can walk away and know that we've done something really, really significant, and we know that he's looking down on us, really proud of that. Obviously, just to make that aware to people that maybe haven't been sort of familiar with that before, the Justin's Law campaign, which we'll be going with, is we want to campaign to make sure that all health and sports facilities across the UK are equipped with a defibrillator. Dad was training in a gym at the time that he suffered his cardiac arrest, and there wasn't a defibrillator on site. In hindsight, it could have potentially saved his life, but who knows? But we want to make sure that when people are going to push their bodies to the limit to go and enjoy their sport, whatever that is, that they have the comfort and the know-how that they're safe in partaking in that sport. And we feel that, you know, like a seatbelt in your car, like a fire extinguisher, you might not ever need to use it, but it's there just so that if something drastic or horrific as what happened to Dad does happen, that person's got the best possible chance of survival. So that for us is going to be our next big push. Obviously, with the current pandemic and other bits and pieces that are going on in this crazy world at the moment, we know that that's probably going to be pushed to the bottom of the pile. So we want to make sure that we've done enough sort of research and planning and, you know, getting as many people on board as we can, so that when we're ready to sort of press play on this campaign and move with it, that we can really, really have some momentum and some real, I guess, power behind it, so that, you know, the government sees that, yeah, this is something that should be in place, and they see the common sense in it as we all do.
Absolutely. Well, just to come on to one of the final questions was about when you do come to Orient, and obviously now with the Justin Edinburgh stand, just that kind of feeling that it must give you and your family to know that, you know, whenever you do come back down to the ground where your dad meant so much, that you'd be sitting in the stand named after him. So can you put that into words in any way?
I can only, as I say, I can't say thank you enough, and I don't say that lightly. But the entire football club from top to bottom, from Nigel and Ken, Martin Ling, the entire board, right down to all of the players, but the supporters have truly made me realise what a fantastic man my dad was. And sometimes it's really, really awful thing to say, but you take things for granted, and it takes something like this for you to realise just how special your nearest and dearest are in your life. So cherish every moment, and you know, make memories. That's what Dad was all about. But yeah, we cannot, as a family, thank Leyton Orient Football Club, and I say that the entire scope, everybody involved, who's been there along the journey with us from the moment that Dad arrived at the football club right up until his tragic passing. And even so now, we are made to feel part of the family. We're welcomed with open arms. We're often reminded what a great man he was. the support, the sense of belonging and feeling loved and comforted. Brisbane Road is that place for us. You know, we know how happy Dad was. Spoken very openly, it was the happiest I've ever seen him in his footballing career. You know, he came home every day from work with a real spring in his step and a sense of pride of being the manager of this fantastic football club. And yeah, we cannot ever repay what everybody's done for us and continues to do for us. So from the entire Edinburgh family, my mum, my sister, and our wider family, my dad's brother and sister, my cousins, nieces, nephews, all of that sort of stuff of Dad, we sincerely thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And it's a relationship that we've got for life now. We'll forever be grateful for Leighton Orient. What a massive part it's played in our lives, and will continue to do so moving forward.
Absolutely. Well, Charlie, thank you so much for speaking to us today. I think I speak for everyone when we say we're all really looking forward to seeing what the Justin Edinburgh Foundation does going forward, and supporting Justin's law and hopefully making some real change. So thanks again, talk to you, and no doubt speak again soon.
And thank you once again to everybody, you included, Luke. Been really, really fantastic over the recent weeks, which have been really tough. So let's not be too down. Let's be positive. Remember Dad in the way that he would have wanted. And yeah, once again, we thank you very much. And this is for Dad.